Hi Aries, welcome to your reading. This is going to be for the next 10 days. It is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. If this one doesn't resonate, definitely check out those other placements. It is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everyone who watches. So we're going to get into your current energy, the near future, which you don't see coming, and then what Spirit wants you to focus on during this time. And just let me emphasize, anytime I put up a reading that's next 10 days, you don't need to worry about when I posted it. It's not for that specific time. It's from whenever you click in the video. Okay, so if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you guys for all of your support. If you're new, welcome. I do hope if you enjoyed the messages, you'll consider subscribing. And if you would like a personal reading, that info is in the description box below or the About section of my channel. Excuse me. Sorry. Sometimes I get indigestion when I'm reading. All right, so let's see what the theme is. We're going to get the astrology card. All right, so the theme over this next 10 days, we've got satisfy emotional needs, nurture self and others. So the moon energy. And I'm going to say, like I have with everybody else, obviously the eclipses are happening. So if you're feeling a little bit like, wow, I really need to take some time to meet my own emotional needs, or I need to just at least direct my attention more towards that, this is just amplifying that is definitely a need. And I don't know why I just heard don't feel guilty about doing so. Try not to feel guilty about that, because I'm sure there are people, everybody has people in their lives that pull at them. And when you're trying to take care of yourself, it can be really tough when you have so much external to you that pulls at your energy. All right, so let's see what we get for tarot. We've got the Page of Cups. All right, so the primary focus, so basically what I feel like is happening, because they're talking about focusing on meeting your emotional needs, this is how it's coming out for me. Doesn't matter how, and I don't know why I feel the need to say this, because I know people question how readers read all the time. This is how I'm picking up on this energy, okay? This to me is saying that there is like a fresh new way of experiencing your emotions, and that's what you're going to be offering out to the world. Meaning you're working through some stuff, you're purging some things, you're paying attention to yourself more. And instead of always just taking care of everybody else's needs, you're actually going to be taking care of yours. So you'll do it in a very loving way, as kind as you can be. But I think this part of you is kind of looking at the way that you used to do things. And there's something, the fish is peering back out of that cup in that card. And it's almost like it's staring you in the face and going, so what are you going to do? Because we can sink or swim. And the swim is the better part, because that's you really taking care of your emotional needs. And no cliche there with the water being what the fish is swimming in, right? So it is important that you do that first. So I think not only are you going to have a different way of looking at things and maybe a fresh new approach to how you take care of yourself and others, but it's also other people seeing you. But this is you, really. I mean, the fish is just a reflection to me in this particular card of you and how you feel about yourself. So it's just a reminder that you got to fill your cup up first before you can take care of other people. All right, so let's keep going. We've got the Magician in reverse. During this time that we're in, the energy that we're experiencing right now, when the Magician's coming out in reverse, it's telling me that a sign is either, or you specifically, I don't just want to say every single one of the people of this sign, there's something about an expectation with your manifestations, which, yes, I mean, that's typical of most people. We're trying to focus on that. But when we spend so much time focusing on the things that we want to create next, we don't spend enough time living in the moment. And I want to say there's something about, once you feel like there's something you want to create, say it, do it, put your intention in it, and then let it go. And then let it go, because we have zero control over when things come to us. We cannot control that. Don't believe somebody that tells you that you can. It's going to come when it comes. It's just the way it works. I don't care what anybody says. From real life experience, I can tell you from so many of my own and so many of the people I've worked with. So that being said, do it and let them go. Some things that maybe you had wanted to manifest haven't happened, and that's been frustrating or in some way hurt, because I know there is this belief that we can manifest absolutely anything that we want in this particular life. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That's just not true. I'm sorry. I mean, if that offends people and they don't want to listen to me because I don't believe that, you're going to keep getting hurt if you don't recognize that what you were meant to experience in this life is what you're going to experience. Your free will is there to make choices about how you get through and to those experiences. So it may be frustrating for some of you, maybe feeling like, God, I just keep trying and nothing ever happens for me. That's where I feel like some of this emotional stuff is being dealt with. It's okay. I don't want to say it's okay because I don't want to sound condescending. We all want to have things that we want to create in our lives. And when we don't get them, there can be disappointment. And I'm not saying that the things that you love and that you desire aren't necessarily possible, but I think sometimes we're given the idea that we can create something that isn't for us. And that's what I mean by there could be some frustration or hurt around that, especially if you have old belief systems that you're still kind of cracking down and working through. This is a time when we're going to be breaking those down more than ever. So the Two of Wands, they want you to understand that even if something didn't work out the way that you had hoped and it really hurt you, that it doesn't mean that you can't create more. And that's the Two of Wands, obviously, is that you have the world in your hands and that there is so much to look forward to in the future. This is more kind of we hope you're going to take care of yourself and not let these disappointments and frustrations and hurt that you've experienced up to this point deter you from moving forward, because there's so much more that you still have to do here. You are needed. Regardless of what you do for a living, regardless of when you're getting into tarot or your spiritual awakening, there's something about you specifically that's really needed. Like, I don't want to be dramatic, but the world needs you. There's something about what you do that makes you, just like everybody else, very, very specific and important, because everybody has some kind of, purpose that they're going to be fulfilling in this life. And everyone touches a lot of lives in whatever way they do so, negatively or positively. But in this case, I want to say that there's something that you're going to be doing that's going to touch a lot of people. And those gates are about to open up through some disappointment that around a manifestation that you thought was going to happen. And then all of a sudden the universe comes in and says, well, but wait a minute. What if we have something else that's going to be even more fulfilling, right? You're starting fresh. This is a new emotional experience. We want to show you that maybe what you thought you wanted wasn't exactly what was going to be as fulfilling as you thought it was going to be. Okay, let's get to the near future. See, and they're trying to take you to this place where you see things a little bit differently. The Six of Wands obviously is taking you to a place where you feel much calmer. It's like a safer, calmer space, but we're part of that creation, right? So we get to a place mentally where we feel a little bit better, and we've resolved some of the pains and disappointments that we've experienced. So this is where they're taking you. So the eclipse season is definitely stirring things up. Everybody's purging. I've said this to every sign during this particular series of readings. We're all purging something. So you're purging some of the disappointments and the hurts that have been weighing on your mind for some time and dealing with your emotional well-being, which is great because that has to be restored so that you can fulfill this next purpose, this next part of the journey. All right, so after that we have the Empress, because this is who you are. I don't care if you're male or female. The Empress, this couldn't have come out at a more perfect time. And to be honest with you, it actually reminds me of Aries when I see this card. I can't remember which sign it represents. But to me, this is you. And God, you're the first sign in the zodiac. You are the starters, depending on what you are in human design, whether you start things or not is important. But most Aries are leaders. You are the ones who do it first, and you show the others kind of the way. So however you do that in your life is going to be important, but they need you to get back to this space. They need you to get back to knowing exactly who you are, right? Sometimes not just sometimes, we do forget. When we incarnate, we forget who we are. We have to, or we would never go through this. Now you're starting to remember who you are. And that comes with the experiences that you had up to this point that broke you open and said, hey, guess what? You're spiritual. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So now I feel like what they're telling you is you're getting back to this place where you feel like you can take charge of things again and be the leader that you are. Okay, so under that we have Judgment. This is like a decision. There is no. They've helped you. They've done what they've needed to do. They've heard the call, But right now, they don't feel like they need to stand in the way. They feel like they've empowered you enough, they being spirit. You guys are always going to be there to guide you, but they've already helped in some way to show you. Now it's up to you. Okay, so let's see what you don't see coming. We have the Ace of Swords. Are you going to be 100% clear on how this is all going to unfold? Absolutely not. The Eight of Pentacles, if you feel like you are in, I just heard purgatory. If you feel like you're being held back or you have no idea, like about a job, let's say what you're going to be doing for money or how things are going to work, I promise you, Spirit held me, if I could share a personal quick experience, held me hostage in a space where I had no clue how my life was going to turn around and what I was going to be doing next. It was months and months and months of screaming at the ceiling and saying, just give me something. But everything ended up working out. Now when I look back on it, I go, oh, you know, I understand why things had to happen the way that they did. As tough as they were and as awful as it felt and as angry as I was, I understood it when it was over. And I want to say that you're going to understand it when it shifts, because there's something that is out there for you that's more, I'm not going to say it's more important. Everything that you do in this life is important as far as your work or how you give back. But there's something bigger than you've been shown just yet. Or maybe you have some kind of insight into what it's going to be, but you're not 100% sure. Right now, the things are just kind of, so what you don't see coming is stillness. So if for any reason you're not working, look, I understand. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs the resources to survive. And I get that. And I'm not saying that I don't understand that too. I've been there as well at a very, very young age. So I understand it being challenging and difficult, but I just want to say, if you're being challenged by something like this right now, it's because there's a bigger purpose for you. And that will show up as well. There will be things that will take care of you. Some people don't feel good unless they have $20,000 in the bank or $500, whatever it is. It isn't that things are necessarily feeling like they're not okay. It just feels like there's a change and there's discomfort. And there's just a reminder here in this reading that everything is going to work itself out. You're just going through a big change. Okay, so what does Spirit want you to focus on? Balancing yourself out. The justice will happen, right? The balancing, whether it's karma or whether you feel like you've just been given the short end of the stick for a long period of time, you've been hurt a lot, whatever it is, this is coming into balance now. So this is a good time for you. I mean, if you're an Aries, you probably like astrology, I'm guessing. And if it's not something you focus on all the time, there's a good possibility that you may be going or heading in that direction. And you'd have a better understanding of what's going on because there's been so much energy connected to Aries between the North and South node. And I think you are part of the eclipses. And then the Pluto energy being a cardinal sign. All that stuff. You've just had a lot coming at you for quite some time. So this is going to be a big, huge adjustment for you and a significant change in this new period of your life. So know that things are definitely going to be balancing back out. The Seven of Wands, they're wanting you to take the time to kind of protect your energy at this point. If you are being held back, let's say you're not working, things aren't moving, and you feel kind of stuck or stagnant, that's because that's Spirit's way of protecting you at this time. It doesn't feel that way. I get it, because we've been programmed to believe if we aren't working, we aren't doing, we aren't earning, we aren't worth anything. But that's just not true. That's not how this whole process actually works. We're being asked to have faith at this point. Things are changing. We know that. So they're asking you to just protect your energy and sit in that you're going to be okay. The Nine of Pentacles is here. However your life looks, even if you have a job and you feel like things are changing and dying off and you just don't know which direction to go, you're going to figure it out. All they want you to know is that in the meantime, you're going to be okay. So what's the challenge here? The Nine of Wands in reverse. To release some of the things you've experienced. It's hard not to fall into that space of, but God, look at how my life has unfolded. Look at the things that have happened to me. We all feel that way at some point. But right now, the challenge is to release some of those things that have happened in the past and not sit with them, because who does that hurt but you? right? Being focused on all the things that have happened that you have no control over, that are done and in the past. And I know it's easier said than done, but letting go of some of those things and the people connected to them are what are going to help push you into this new place. And or the pain or some of the experiences that you had are what you're going to use to help others. If you recognize that you really look out into the world, a lot of times that's how things happen. Somebody has to experience it before they can go and help other people. That's the path they've chosen, which to most people would be unbelievable, but it really isn't like out there to focus on and recognize. All right, let's look at the, I'm going to clarify. Sorry, got a little confused for a second. Let's see what they're talking about here. Okay, the nurturing. Okay, and then the Seven of Wands is coming out. So where I said before, this is a protection of your energy. When it's in reverse to me, it can be like sometimes you're open to other people's energy and you need to protect yourself. But this is like be feeling vulnerable at this time. And they're just saying they recognize that it can feel very vulnerable, but they're telling you you're going to this place twice now, Six of Swords. You are going to get to a place where you feel better and things seem a lot lighter and they're calmer. Under the Page of Cups, we have the Page of Pentacles. Something new is just not there yet. Like something isn't meant to start right in this very moment. Doesn't mean it won't, but something is coming about. It's probably at the other eclipse that we're having or sometime around then. It's just not this next 10 days. So the Magician and then the Three of Swords, the Fool. They don't want you to be afraid to take chances in the future. They just want you to recognize that the right ones. Listen, we all have to make those mistakes because we have to learn from them. I don't want to even call them mistakes. They're not. They're lessons. But they don't want you to take any chances right now. Just because there's some healing that needs to be done and worked on and maybe some, disappointments and things that need to be just worked through and purged. All right, so the Two of Wands, the bigger purpose that you have, yes, the Five of Cups, there's sadness there, and I get that. But they're wanting you to try to process your emotions. Don't ever shove them down and not experience them and deal with them. But also they're wanting you to understand through some of this sadness, there's going to be a bigger purpose for you because there's something that you need to share with the world. I don't know how else to put it. Six of Swords with the Empress, you're going to remember who you are. The King of Cups in reverse, this could be connected to an absent emotional father, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, doesn't have to be, or just having dealt with difficult, unemotional, detached, masculine energies. And yes, I'm going to specify gender in this particular case because it doesn't matter what gender you are. There's a very specific message coming through that it may have been difficult to feel like you could rise because you've had a lot of difficult masculine energies that treated you poorly or tried to dim your light. Okay, and you're taking that back. Empress and the Judgment in reverse, we have the Knight of Swords. I feel like Spirit said, we've given you the information that you need at this point. Just sit and understand that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Nowhere else at this moment. Ace of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Four of Cups. Good, because this is what they're saying. Get yourself emotionally fulfilled. When this other cup comes in, then you get to make a decision about whether it's going to be fulfilling for you. This whole massive transit that's happening is about us feeling more fulfilled as human beings, not being robots in the system, finding things that we genuinely love and knowing that we can actually take care of ourselves by doing something that we genuinely connect with. So if the old part of you, the old conditioned belief was the only way to get through in life, which by the way, was the construct of the world, we know better now and things are changing. Now you're like, okay, I don't have to do it the old way. I'm learning how to understand that. And yeah, if it feels great to me, once I've got all my cups filled, then I will do so. But you've got to be in a space where you are healed emotionally to help others. Okay, and then we have the King of Swords. And then somebody's going to come in, and this can be a boss to me. You may you may go to a new job or work in an environment where somebody sees some potential that you have beyond what you had been doing, and they're going to tell you. Whoever this is very honest and straightforward. You may meet a new partner that has the ability. Most masculines aren't there yet. No offense to those of you listening. Most have not gotten beyond this whole process that they're going through. The feminines had to rise first, and then the masculines are going to follow. Anyway, my point is there could be a boss that comes in and says, hey, listen, I think you'd be better at this. I think you have more potential to do well, or it may make you happier to do this. And this person's going to be really honest with you. Okay, so then justice. And Spirit's like, look, there's fairness here. They want you to focus on that, and then protecting yourself from any naysayers. And then the Two of Wands, which is, look, see, this is that path that we're lighting up for you. We want you to really see it because it's right there. It's right in front of you. And that's when they're wanting you to focus on how this stability starts to balance back out. And then the Seven of Cups, which is good because to me, that's not about confusion. It's actually about, I want to reinvent the card because I feel like it's about the options that are out there. And there are going to be more things that you enjoy and that you love and that will be available to you. And that's coming from a place of finally feeling settled again, where you don't feel like all your emotions are all over the place or in chaos because of all of this energy. All right, and then we have the Nine of Wands in reverse, Ten of Pentacles. So some of you, it could feel like the wounds that you had were around your finances, or maybe you've gone through some really, and again, I get it. I've lived basically out of my car before when I was in my late teens. So I get what it's like to feel that way. As adults, we don't ever think that should happen to us, nor do I think it should. But there's something around an experience of not having the resources that really shifts everything for you. So it could be wounds around money and the lack thereof, or feeling like you can't get by. And listen, I'm not trying to say that how you feel is any less important than how other people feel, because it's just as important. Everybody experiences this. It's been tough for a lot of people. Doesn't mean I minimize how each individual feels. It just means this has been a really tough time for us. But we had to experience this in order to fight back. So please understand there is a bigger picture. So if you have wounds around money, I think that's also going to be healed. And at least you're going to work through that so that you can start viewing things differently. And then you're going to start making different choices for yourself. All right, let's get the advice. What's the advice for Aries? They're like, watch out for that luring hand that can come in and tempt you back into a state that you don't want to return to. And then the Eight of Wands. See, it's recognizing those types of energies. That's when things start really moving forward. And I feel like your passion reignites as well. But the message is, the advice is to let things flow, but be cautious in the meantime of things that can lure you back in. And people who aren't honest. Make sure that you know those flags and you pay really close attention to them, because there aren't always going to be people who have good intentions. As much as we like to believe they do, they don't. And yes, we have to look past red flags at some point in our lives. We aren't going to know them until we know them, because we have to learn very specific lessons around them. So just pay attention to these people who feel like they're not telling you the truth. Don't ignore your intuition. They keep harping on this. Like, really don't ignore your intuition. And if something is trying to like guide you, lure you in, they're asking you to really pay attention to how you interact with people and be cautious of the things that drag you into a darker place. The Seven of Wands is in reverse. So if you're not protecting yourself, which is the indication that I'm getting here, is like at times maybe you're not as cautious as you should be. And they're saying just take better care of yourself, because your intuition can be dulled by certain behaviors. I don't know who I'm talking to. What you do is none of my business. But there is no doubt you can't protect yourself, and your intuition will be less strong. I'm just going to say the word less strong if you're not careful. And people will take advantage of that. So be cautious. Okay, let's see what other advice they have for you. All right, stay strong. Obviously, yes, we want you to stay strong through this. Wash away your burdens. Don't fear the unknown. That's the hardest thing to do, but this is what they're telling you, is like, wash away your burdens. Every day is a different day, and you can experience it how you choose to, regardless of the circumstances. And if that card comes out when we get to the Lover's Oracle, I'll laugh. But really, in this place, they're just asking you not to fear what you don't understand or you don't know. Respect your boundaries. So important. So goes back to what I was telling you with the advice is you need to be really cautious. And I say this because I'm speaking from the spirit space, not from my own personal opinions of things. I block that out. This is them saying, really understand that you need to set up proper boundaries with yourself. And if something lures you into the darker side of things, then you need to be extra careful to protect yourself during those situations, okay? All right, let's look at the Lover's Oracle. Get my sleeves back up. All right, what messages do we have for Aries? All right, this is the one they want. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. This is the case if you're in a healthy relationship. If you know that you're nitpicking at each other because something else is going on, it's external, it's not necessarily the relationship, then yeah. And if you've chosen to be in a relationship and there's something you don't like about your partner and they're not changing, it's because it isn't their job. You have to make a decision if something works for you or it doesn't. Having the expectation that somebody's going to change their behavior for you is the worst thing you could possibly do for yourself. You're going to fall down a rabbit hole of a lot of unmet expectations. So in this case, they're just saying, really, like, either accept it or don't, but it's a choice you have to make for yourself. Okay, so freedom, there's nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. You really do. I mean, this is so true. It can be clear if you open up to it and allow it to be, and not try to resist whatever's coming in, even if it's uncomfortable. Look inside yourself, examine what is causing you to feel this way. Okay, that's always important. We have to look back at ourselves. We can't blame the outside world for why everything is happening. We have to look at what's going on within us. That's the only way to heal. All right, let's see what we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle. This card just keeps coming out. It's like, where there may have been things that were good in the past, there's some aspect of the way things used to come in that's closing out. So there'll be a new way and a better way of things showing up in your life, like better luck. But 9s could be significant, so you could be born on the 9th. Let's see what else we get. And then a new life. Clearly, you're being catapulted into something completely different. So you could be 39, born on the 3rd, the 9th, or the 12th of the month. 3s. I feel like 3s and 9s are going to be significant. Just pay attention to them. It could be the 3rd or the 9th of let's say next month, because we're past that. And by the way, happy birthday to everyone. I can't remember what today is. I think it's the 22nd or 23rd. I don't remember. 3rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. Yes, it's the 23rd. So happy birthday to those of you who are listening. And then peace, this is where you're getting to. So this new life is going to create a sense of peace and well-being. That's what they're trying to let you know. And again, you have a 3 in here. So you could be 23, born on the 23rd, the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 5th. And then higher power. See, this is where spirit comes in and says, don't you trust that we know what we're doing? So the number 4, you could be born on the 4th, but that's just them saying, yes, it exists. What you believe in is true. Even when the human experience seems difficult and you can't believe that there could possibly be a whatever you believe in, if these things happen, they want you to know that they have not gone anywhere. They, them, or it, whatever you believe in. Let's see what we get from Australian Animal Oracle. All right, so we've got the cricket, which is 10, and abundance. Perfect. What a great way to end this. All right, so let's see. All right, so the message, we have cricket is here to remind us to ground ourselves and sing our own, hold on, let me read this properly. To ground ourselves and sing our own song. Okay. Crickets stand in their own power and the new beginning that is assured to be full of good luck and good fortune. I don't know why I'm not reading this in order. Crickets stand in their own power and like grasshopper, and like grasshopper, take the leap of faith into the new beginning that is assured to be full of good luck and good fortune. Good, because remember I said there could be this quiet time right before something great happens and you'll know exactly what to do, but it's taking you towards something that's so much better than what you could have expected. Cricket's song invites you to meet the rising of the sun with the promise of good fortune for this new day and journey ahead. Good fortune, good luck, and a new beginning. Love that. Okay, what a perfect way to end your reading. And tens, obviously, we know that's about a new beginning. So those were your messages. Thank you guys so, so much for being here. Please hit that like button and leave me a comment, even if it's a frustrated one. I say that because sometimes it can be a little harsh in my readings, but it comes from a place of love. I just want you to understand that you're going to be okay. And as tough as things may seem, it will get better. All right. So I'm going to send you tons of love. Have a great 10 days, and I will see you in the next one.